News. Our Adam Schefter is reporting the Bengals and Andy Dalton have reached an agreement. Here are the numbers. 6-year, $115 million. It's a 6-year, $115 million contract. All right, back out live here, guys. I guess this is what they get. Everyone gets, we throw that number around, hundreds, right. Somewhere in the hundreds. What do you think of Dalton's new deal, George?
Well, look, we don't know what the guaranteed money is, so I think that's a big issue. So we're going to try to talk about this a little blind here for a second. But at $115 million, it's about a $19 million per year average, which makes him fourth, fifth highest paid quarterback in the league. I don't think he's that good. All right, he's been abysmal in the postseason. He's been a good regular season quarterback, and he's been surrounded by a lot of talent, okay? Arguably one of the top 2 or 3 receivers in the National Football League right now, a good running game, and a defense that's unreal, okay? 31 takeaways last year, one of the best in the league. So he's got a squad around him. It's not like he was one of these rookies or young guys who was thrown onto a team that, had to make chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what, okay? He's had a squad with him each and every year, and he's 0-3 in the postseason. And he's been awful in the postseason. When everything gets ratcheted up and you're only playing against the greatest competition in that postseason tournament, he's been terrible. 0-3 and throwing a ton of picks, turning the ball over a ton. Yeah, I don't think that he's the guy for them. And I'm starting to wonder, at what point do these teams start to say, okay, maybe this guy isn't the guy for the future. This isn't the guy to get us over the hump. He can only take us to a certain level. We see that in coaching, right? We've seen it at almost every other position in sports, but we don't see it as much, at least recently, at quarterback. They're just paying everybody, and I don't get it with Andy Dalton.
See, what confuses me about, a lot of people think that it's just easy to start over with a new quarterback. Hey, let's start over. Let's get somebody new, and then we'll get to the Super Bowl. It doesn't go like that, man. You get somebody new, you got 3, 4, 5 years of rebuilding. Usually, at the quarterback position, especially, everybody's not Andrew Luck that comes in and has turns worst to first. Right. Everybody's not like that. Dalton has already shown that he has capabilities to get his team into the postseason. So what he needs to do is fine tune to be able to rise to the occasion when the time is right and get his team through the postseason. And I believe he can do that. Obviously they're betting on him. And I think they're doing it for a reason. They see something in him that we don't see. They're not just throwing money at him blindly.
You know what? It was a fair point. Both you guys made fair points. But when I see 6 years, $152 million, Andy Dalton, it's like Cincinnati's
115.
115, excuse me. I don't want to give him that much money.
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
$15 million for Andy Dalton. Yeah. That's a team trying to convince themselves and convince Andy Dalton that you're our guy. We're going to give you the 4th highest paid contract among any quarterback in the National Football League. This is what I call hoping and wishing. You're hoping and wishing that by getting this contract and having that kind of faith in him, that he'll be able to raise his game. Either you're able to do that or not. And I'm going to give him a pass in the first playoff game. He was rookie for the Cincinnati Bengals. That will overwhelm any rookie quarterback, especially playing on the road against the Houston Texans. But last year, he had home field advantage. San Diego Chargers coming to your building, and it seemed like he played like that rookie that I saw in that first playoff game 2 years prior. Cincinnati, they believe in Andy Dalton, or they would not have given him a 6-year, $115 million contract. I think they're hoping and wishing by giving him that kind of money that, okay, I know I can raise my level to this contract, and they're betting on Andy Dalton, hoping that he can do that. To me, the jury is still out on him because for all what you mentioned, George, A.J. Green, fantastic receiver, one of the top 2 or 3 receivers in the National Football League. They have 2 tight ends in Gresham and also a kid out of Notre Dame that can really, really play. Giovanni Bernard, they feel he can be that 3rd down back and help out that quarterback. And their defense, even though they lost a couple of pieces, Vontez Burfict, one of the top 50 players in the National Football League, the linebacker position. Geno Atkins coming back from a torn ACL. So now, Andy Dalton, if you didn't think the pressure was on you before, it's really on you now. You can't get this team out of your division and you get to the playoffs and then you have a performance like you had last year versus San Diego. I wish the best for Andy Dalton. Yeah. But to me, this is a hoping and wishing contract, hoping and wishing that he'll be able to play to the level of the money that they've given him.
And here's the other thing. I'm not saying that you got to stop right now and start over. Yeah. That's the type of stuff that as a general manager, it's part of your job to see, hey, can this guy be the guy to take us over the hump? So I'm talking about last year or whatever, you say to yourself, maybe we need to draft somebody to put a little pressure on him. Okay? Or maybe we need to sign another free agent, a veteran type, that can push him a little bit and find ways to do it that way. And maybe one of those guys beats him out in that situation. But here's the thing. Now you're committed to him. Now you've put all the chips into the middle of the table, and you're stuck with him. And, look, I'm not saying he's Mark Sanchez, but I remember when the Jets put Mark Sanchez's money on the table and said, he's our guy, and they decided to pay him. And that thing didn't turn out so well because I look at Andy Dalton, and I say he's got better weapons than even Mark Sanchez had in New York. And I don't think he's that much better than Mark Sanchez was.
All right, Dalton's contract is the 4th highest in total value. As we know, we don't know about guaranteed dollars as mentioned, but he's right behind Jay Cutler, Colin Kaepernick, and Joe Flacco. Just to put it in perspective for our viewers. Let's move on here. The Giants beat the Bills in the Hall of Fame game to